Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's class. Hi, everyone. Hope you guys all have a good weekend. A good week. Sorry. Guys, tell us about your week. What was it you took from the last class that you were able to apply within the week? Hi, Favor. Hi, Yinka. Hello, Faith. Mary, hi. Okay, we're just gonna give this a minute and then we're gonna dive right in. Um, So what was it that we learned from last week class motivation? Were you able to motivate anyone or were you able to motivate yourself to do something new?
Now we can start.
Yeah. Hi everyone.
No. Jerry, you were still.
Good afternoon, Mary.
Jerry.
Okay, so we're gonna start now. Just gonna share my screen. Guys, tell me, keep it coming, keep the comment coming. What was it that you learned from motivation, or what part of it did you apply to your week, your whole week this week? What was it that you did that was different? When were you really, down, or you didn't want to do what you didn't want to get up, and then you were able to think of something or applied one of the techniques that were learned that had helped you? Thanks for joining us, Yinka. Sorry, thanks for joining us, Yemi. Yeah, that's Yemi. Oh wow, that's fantastic, Faith. That's really good. So so today we are going to be looking at how to develop our empathy. So just to recap on what we did last week, we all know what emotional intelligence is at this point. It's the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and those of the people around you. So we've been looking at the 5 elements since we started. We've done the self-awareness, being aware of your surrounding, being aware of yourself and aware of other people. We've looked at self-regulation, how to regulate our own self, be determined, work with time. And we looked at motivation last week, how to be motivated, do things that we normally wouldn't do, get out of our comfort zone. Today, we are looking at empathy, how to put ourselves in other people's shoes, how to sympathize with other people, how to also help your students, to develop their own empathy. So, a recap on self motivation. We learned last week that motivation is what pushes us to achieve our goals, feel more fulfilled, and improve our overall quality of life. So we looked into how people get motivated, how we reach our full potential, how we get up and just keep going no matter what, how it's okay to fail, but to always be able to motivate ourselves to pick ourselves up and keep going. And we looked at different examples of that, and I'm sure that we are already practicing. Faith is already practicing. She has motivated herself to start a new business now. So today we are going to be looking at empathy. What is empathy? To you, what does empathy mean? You know, is it the ability to understand and share the feelings of another? What is it to you? What is empathy to you? Yeah. Okay. What is empathy? Empathy it's just simply put, it's the ability to identify with the feelings of others. The easiest way to look at it. How do you identify with the feelings of others? Or better still, it is being able to put yourself in another person's shoes. Put yourself in someone else's shoes and see how they feel. It's really understanding what the next person is feeling. It's your ability to recognize emotions in others, and to understand other people's perspective on a situation. And when you've developed your empathy, it enables you to use that insight that you've learned to improve someone else's mood, and to support them through challenging situations. So when people are down, how do you first identify it, and how do you em- empathize with them? How do you put yourself in their shoe, take a walk in their shoe, and be able to support them and be there, help them go through things, hear what they are saying, understand what they are saying, see it from their perspective, you know, put yourself in their situation, you know, go through the motions with them of what they are feeling, because only then would you truly understand how they are feeling and be able to, support them or advise them or guide them. So emotional empathy, we're learning emotional intelligence, so we're always going to look at the emotional side of everything. So emotional empathy is the ability to share the feelings of another person and to understand that person on a deeper level. Keyword here, on a deeper level, really and truly knowing what someone is feeling. It's sometimes called affective empathy, because it affects or changes you. It's not just a matter of knowing how someone feels, but of creating genuine rapport with them. So, it's one thing to know that, oh, I hear you. I know you. I know this is how you're feeling. I know that this is, maybe sad, but most times we feel pity rather than empathy towards people. You feel sorry for people. You pity them because something has, happened. That's the first thing that happens when you walk into a situation and something terrible is really happening it has happened to someone. The first thing that we do is to feel, in Nigeria they go, hey, yeah, you feel so like, oh no. And then from once you now feel that, you can as one and move into, sympathizing with them. I feel for you, your pity is, I am sorry for you. You feel sorry for them. And then you get to a stage where you now feel for them. And when you further develop it, that's when you're now empathizing with them. You are now feeling with them. You're no longer feeling for them. You've put yourself now in that situation with them. You're looking at it from, if this was happening to me. So you are now feeling with them. And then when you have understand and developed your empathy, there's now another level of it, which is compassion, being compassionate. You are now moved by what is happening, which is what would now get you to, act, maybe, that would, once you are compassionate about what's happening, you're moved by it, there is now an action. You're able to maybe do something about it, or just, find a way to help them out of the situation and support them through it. So our focus area today are the types of empathy. Why teach empathy to your students in school? How does a teacher promote empathy in the classroom? Two skills needed for empathy, and then empathetic listening technique. Those are what we're going to be looking at today. Hopefully, by the end of this section, we would have developed empathetic listening skills. We would have developed ourselves. We would have things that we can put in practice for the week and going forward, in order for us to really be able to truly empathize with others around us. So type of empathy, there are three types of empathy. There's the cognitive, which is logical. It's all about knowing how other person is feeling and what might on what they might be thinking. It's very logical. It's straightforward. You're being, you're being logical about things. You're saying, I hear you. I hear you. I know what you're feeling. You know, I know what you're thinking. Then the second one is emotional empathy. Emotion. Now you are feeling for them. You're feeling their emotions and experiences, almost as if it was contagious, that's of your own. Like, it's like now you're feeling what they're feeling. You've looked at their situation, or they've told you about it, and you really listen and you really hear them. So you are now feeling for them. You are now nearly in that boat with them, trying to feel how they are feeling, or understand it. And then the last one is compassionate. Now you felt what they're feeling. You now understand it. Once you've understood what you are feeling, you understand the person's predicament, and you feel with them. you know you are now spontaneously open to help, because you've heard them, you know what they're feeling, you're feeling what they are feeling. Now it's only natural that you're now wanting to help, when they need the help, if they need the help. It's a nice combination of cognitive and emotional empathy. It's the both of them combined together, and it involves you knowing first what's going on with them, feeling for them and feeling with them, putting yourself in their shoes, and now understand. Because you've put yourself in their shoe, you now understand it. And once you understand it, it's only natural that you would want to, extend help. You want to help them. You want to solve their problems. Not that So why teach empathy? When students have empathy, their sensitivities towards other students in the classroom is way better. They relate more to people. They would understand what their classmates are going through, what other students are going through. And even you as a teacher, when you have empathy, you'd understand what your colleagues may be going through and all that. And then once they understand that, once they are able to empathize with each other, you see that students are most likely to tease or bully their selves, their classmates. Instead, you see them encouraging them to do better. You see them, being tolerant and being acceptance of other students like themselves. Once they understand it, it also helps them to build a sense of security and stronger relationship with other children and educators. There are lots now relatable with you as well, and then it's positioned them to, it puts them in a space where they can learn well, because they have empathies towards other students. They are now able to do group work with them, and then they are able to help each other. Remember, we said it's knowing, feeling, and then understanding, which leads to helping. Those are the three core elements of empathy. So once you have that in a classroom, of course, group work would happen and people would help each other more. So that's just the empathy map. It's think and feel. It's seeing what other people are, going through your environment, how these things affect you. It's hearing what people are saying, what your boss is saying as a teacher, what influencers are saying, and it's also teaching your students how to, think and feel, put themselves in other people's shoes, feel what they are feeling, hear what their friends, what other people are truly saying. And you as a teacher being able to truly hear what your student is trying to say to you. Because most times we intend to talk at people rather than talk to people. We intend to hear, to respond, rather than hearing, to listen, listening to what someone is truly saying and understand what they're saying and put yourself in their position. And then also the say and do attitude, how they behave, how the students behave towards each other, and finding a way to help them develop that. Now, how does a teacher promote empathy? 3 steps that you would apply. And once you apply these 3 steps in your classroom with the student, you would see how their empathy would begin to develop for the better. So step one is preparing. You create a condition where empathy can thrive by making sure that you are infusing programs or workshops like being heard, putting one in the next person's shoe. One that I can think of that is really brilliant is having a group where you get two people. So get A to tell B about B, three things about them or more, or a situation that they were in. And then B had not listened to A, and A also would tell B about themselves, and B would listen to A would listen to B, and then get them to not tell each other's story. What B had told A would have to tell the classroom or the circle. Likewise, what B had also told A, vice versa. What happened with that is it helps them to actually put themselves in the next person's shoes. So you're telling my story as though it's yours. It helps you to genuinely feel what I'm feeling. I've also seen that work. These are some of the exercises we use in our trainings, and it really really work. So it's creating a safe space first. Before that can work, you really now have to make sure that the students understand that it's a safe space. Nobody's judging anybody. We're all here to help each other. We're all here to love each other and learn with each other and help each other develop. And it's the easiest way to do that is you leading by example, is you making sure that the student understand that what they say to you once is not detrimental, once is not harmful to another persons or themselves, that their informations are safe with you. Just lead by example. Careful. See how you're able to connect with them. They would see how you treat you as a teacher, the way you and your colleagues would relate to the student. They might be young, but they listen, they watch, they see, and they learn from what they see. And then develop emotional competency for your own self. Once you have all of these things, once you are already leading by example and you have not created a safe space in your school with your students, it may not necessarily be, because they're already classroom that are there. Safe space might just be how you relate with them. It may not necessarily mean moving the seats in a different way. No, it might just be how you relate with them, the culture that you had built with them. That might be what you can work on, and then to them it becomes their safe haven. Their time with you, when they are in the class with you, it becomes their safe haven. So step two is engage. Take actions to that suits their personality. So it's again knowing your students and looking at things that you might try out to see how they are able to help each other develop their empathies. The group plays, storytelling, which you can infuse what I've said earlier, which is asking A to tell B story and asking B to tell A stories. And then problem solving, it's very vital to always teach young people how to think outside the box or within the box when other people are thinking otherwise, and then help them to develop their problem solving skills. The easiest way to do it is helping them to see opportunities rather than problem. So once you see a problem as an opportunity, it allows you to want to develop a solution. It allows you to want to create solutions for the problem. And then step three is reflect and act. Actions and reflection helps internalize empathy. Once they not understand what it is, you've taught them now. You have been teaching them, you're encouraging them to do it, they're seeing you do it. It's now very very vital that you put it in play. You create environment where they have to empathize with other students, where they have to put themselves in other students' shoes. So identify shared values and differences, instill courage, enable actions. So two skills needed to develop empathy. Empathy involves two major skills, perceiving and communicating. Perceiving, to perceive and be aware of another person's situation while taking into account their point of view. So What this means is simple, is one, knowing what this person is going through, understanding it, not understanding it from your perspective, because when you're not in that situation, when the situation is not yours, you're always going to see it from, oh, if this was me, I would go back this way or the other way. So one, if you are able to understand it from their point of view, then the next step, which is communication, is a lot easier. So if you don't understand what they are trying to say to you, ask all the necessary questions around it. Try to truly know what they are saying to you, to truly hear what they are saying to you, to truly feel what they are feeling by understanding what they are saying. Once you get their point of view, so there's no right or wrong. Their point of view, in your opinion, could be wrong, but in situations like this, there is no right or wrong. We just have different perspective. So we just have different point of view. We just we process situations differently. Once you understand that and then try to see where this person is coming from, how this person is processing, then it's easier to communicate, and you're communicating using both verbal and non-verbal way of communicating. Um, helps you to perceive to others' thoughts and feelings. Once you are able to communicate by talking to them, asking the right questions, and the non-verbal is your eye contact, your body language. You can be someone can be talking to you and they would know that you are only just hearing what they're saying, but you're not listening because you're probably looking at your watch, you're probably looking at your phone, you're probably distracted, you're not making eye contact. They can tell that you cannot wait for them to finish. And if you're that kind of a person, then you are not empathetic, you don't have empathy. And the good news is we can always develop this. A lot of us are very quick, like you want to solve the problem and solve it now, or you want to have this conversation and move on with it, whereas other people will drag things. That's who they are, that's how they process, that's their processing phase. You might be someone who's very quick at processing information or situation and moving forward. Other people, it might take them time. So you communicating, you listening, you understanding, you looking at things from their point of view would help you to truly, feel their thoughts, feel what they are feeling and understand their thoughts, and be able to help them once these skills are developed. So empathetic listening techniques. So the verbal and the non-verbal encouragers, this communicates to the person that once you've learned how to listen, hear, and communicate properly with them, you are able to now be in an environment where someone is sharing their problems or what they are going through with you. You are able to truly listen, and they can tell that you're listening when you are making eye contact, you are nodding your head in the right times, you're smiling when there is need for it. They'll see that you're being carried along. Sometimes when people are talking to us, we might get bored of what they are talking about, that we nearly just our body language nearly just says it all. You're just flat waiting in your head. You're going, when would this person be done and over with this? The sad part of that is they can see it from your body language. They can tell that you can't wait to get out of there. So once you start to create eye contact, you nod when you should, if you have to act like you are there with them until you master it, then do it. Just tell yourself before you go into any of this space that I'm going to truly listen. I'm going to try my best to pay attention. I'm going to try my best to understand what they are saying, And you also have to show the person that you want to genuinely listen. And the ways to go about that, we all have our phones and then you're getting messages every 2 minutes. So it is vital to, when you really want to hear or feel what people are feeling or understand what they are saying, because sometimes people just need attention and that's probably all they just need. And that's probably what you just need to do in that moment to sympathize with them, to show that you feel what they're feeling. So it's always very vital to have your phone on silent instead of having it, beep every time you want to look at it. Put your phone on silent. Give that person or those group of people your undivided attention, and also teach your students how to concentrate. So it might be, again, we in the last lessons or two that we had, we talked about how to be able to calm ourselves. We looked at different meditation. We were talking about meditating and all. So if you need to do that, if you need to practice your listening skills, you want to practice how to be still, how to be calm, so that you are able to truly listen. That if you've been practicing that, it would actually help you to begin to listen, because when you meditate, you're away from your phone, you're away from everything. And the more you practice that, the more you are now, you know, um, the more you are now open to actually giving things try, which is you're not able to pay attention when someone really want to talk to you and you want to show them that you're really listening. Sometimes someone could be talking to you and they're saying the most ridiculous of things and you don't even realize it, but you just roll your eyes because, like, especially when the way everybody's problems are different. What might be a problem or a challenge for me, it's a walk in the park for you. Likewise. So sometimes when people are telling you what their problems are, you're wondering, is that why you called me here? Or is that why you're crying? Is that why the whole world is coming down in your head? You can't help it. You just roll your eyes and do the, but you're trying to listen, but you're going in your head, oh my God, really? Is this person's problem? Or especially in a classroom setting with kids, your challenges might be raising funds or getting a new career or buying that house or achieving that goal or having or getting married or advancing your career or something, which are huge, or caring for your family, which are huge. Okay. And then the young person's problems or situation challenges might just be getting how to spell properly, or having the right handwriting, or their lunchbox or something that you're going, really, is this a problem? Well, to you, it might not be anything. To them, it is huge for them. It might just be passing the text, or it could just be something as simple as, why don't the others like me? Or I want to be friends with Jessica. Why can't I be friends? And to you, because of what you as an adult have to, the challenges that you have to deal with on a daily basis, it might nearly just come across as they're disturbing you. But you don't want them to see that, because you had to live by example. When you start to show those young people that you can empathize, you can listen to whatever it is they're talking about, there's a ripple effect. They also will begin to learn from you and do the same to the other students. You want to understand more about their experiences. So when they are talking to you, ask questions, related and relevant questions to collect more information, on what they are talking about. You can ask them questions like, tell me more about it, elaborate on, just, it helps them to feel that you actually are listening, you're paying attention. And it also helps you to put yourself in their shoes, because what's happening is when you're saying tell me more about it, you're getting really interested, you're getting engrossed into the conversation or the situation, and it gives that effect of you really care. And before you know what's happening, you start to think about it. If this was me, if I was the one that this is happening to, and then you can always reflect back to when you were in your own sixth grade or eighth grader, or your primary or secondary school, that particular thing that was a problem for you. And if you had someone who listened and empathized with you, how it would have ended differently. Or if in a case where you had a teacher or a student who was there for you, empathized with you at the time, how it has helped. So you always have to take yourself back to when you were in that preschool, to when you were in that primary school, to when you were in that secondary school, because it will help you to understand them better. So reflective listening, you know you reflect to the other person's, what you think you've heard. Make sure, it's very key to make sure that you are reflecting their feelings. So when they've not spoken to you, you've not asked them all those questions, tell me more and all that you've asked, it is very vital that you communicate it back to them, so that they get it that, oh, she gets me or he gets me. There's such a relief when someone is telling you their problems and you're going, yeah, actually, I understand. Yeah, I went through that when I was in primary school. I went through that when I was in secondary school. I had that person who did that. It just helps because you guys would not vibe well because you're able to share that experience with them. You're able to bring a situation that you were that was similar to that, and they are able to now know that you genuinely feel how they're feeling, and you see how their healing process would begin, how they would be able to now walk through whatever it is that the situation where that they wanted you to know about in the first place. So the goals, what you can do to improve your empathy and to develop that of your student in the classroom. So here are some questions that you can constantly ask yourself. Always ask yourself, am I compassionate enough to care about understanding the other person's feeling? Ask yourself that when someone talks to you about something, it's one thing to hear it, it's another thing to care about it. Ask yourself genuine question in your closet. Do I really care about what this person is saying? you know and then, can you put yourself in the other person's shoes completely, that you do not criticize or judge them? When someone says something to you, as humans, we all do this. Where someone is telling you, especially someone telling you a situation, talking to you about maybe their relationship, with their spouse or anything, and you're wondering, because in your head, I won't do that. So you are already judging them. You're already going, hey, maybe you don't know your self value. Maybe you don't know your self worth. You're not saying it to them, but that's how you're feeling. Sometimes you even say it. Sometimes we even say, you can do better. And stuff, we are judging because we're third person, because we're outside the situation. But if we put ourselves truly and completely in their shoes, where you are now feeling what they are feeling, ask yourself this question every time you have conversations with your friends or the student, you as with your colleague now, as a teacher, every time you have conversation with your colleagues, your friend, people that your family, do you truly sympathize with them? Do you not criticize them deep down? Do you not judge them? Ask yourself this. Can I let myself into others' feeling and personal meanings? You know, Practice all of these things. Look at them and then see how you are feeling and see how you can help develop. And then the outcome is to practice, practicing empathy. If all these answers, if some of them are no for you or all of them are no, what you now do is start to practice to put yourself in other people's shoes and see how you're feeling, and start to be there, be present. And the more you do it on a daily basis, the better you become. So remember to teach your student empathy by using literature. So research, look at what the things that I've been reading, things that are online, things that are out there about empathy, reflective journaling. Let them also read, let them also write about these things so that you guys can develop it together and then create an empathy opportunity. Any questions, guys? So for next week, we are going to be doing social skills. So I can't wait to get cracking on that. As you all know, my name is Branze. So thank you so very, very much. So guys, if you have any questions, please leave it below. I would respond to them. Thank you so, so much, guys. All right, see you same time next week. Thank you so, so much.